Hey guys, this is John, checking in again from the St. Louis Norm Congress. Just played round 5. I'm getting used to this, by the way, talking to the camera after each and every one of my games. I've got some other tournaments coming up after this tournament, so I'll try to continue this format because you guys seem to like it. So, round 5, I played black against Grandmaster Denis Boros of Hungary. I played him twice before, only scored a half point in those games. So he's a tough Grandmaster. His rating has dropped a little bit. So he's like right around 2450, lower rated than me, but there's no easy games in a tournament like this. I'm definitely not taking a player like that for granted. That said, though, even with the black pieces, I wanted to try to mix it up and look for an opportunity to win. He surprised me in the opening. He played a gambit, the Geller Gambit, which involves white playing e4 right after black has taken on c4. Usually I'm playing a Slav proper with that variation, but instead of going after the pawn on c4, he just plays e4, takes the center, and white gets very good compensation in the form of that powerful mobile center and piece activity. And I've had some past bad experiences in this line. Those of you who watch my videos know that I've suffered some defeats against this variation, especially in blitz. So I was on guard, and I decided to play something of a sideline, this move h6 on move 7, which I have looked at before. It's not the best line, it's not better than e6, but it's decent for surprise value. The idea is just to deny white the g5 square, and often you can plant your bishop on e6 and try to transfer it to d5. So I was still looking to fight with that move, just trying to maintain the extra pawn. And he came up with a very interesting idea. So he developed his bishop to e2, where it belongs, and then after playing bishop f3, he had this nice shot, knight takes c4. I saw that move coming, but the consequences of it were unclear to me. I think taking the knight on c4, b takes c4 is fine, but after queen a4 check, knight c6, there's this move queen takes c6, bishop takes c6, bishop takes c6 check. I have to play queen d7 to block with my queen. And I wasn't sure about that endgame after bishop takes d7, king takes d7. Afterwards, I was analyzing with Denis, and he was suggesting rook a6 there. And I think black is a little worse, despite what the computers might tell you. So I opted not to go for that variation. I instead played e6. He dropped his knight back to e3. I knew white was going to have very good compensation, but I was hoping that I'd be able to keep the extra pawn and castle and be able to fight from there. But I knew realistically, most likely, he would, A, either continue his initiative, have some sort of attack against my king, or B, probably the more realistic scenario and what happened in the game, he would win one of the pawns back while I had to take time to secure my king. So after he played this move d5, I just castled, because I think it's imperative to get my king castled. I'm already behind in development. He takes on e6. I take back. He puts his queen in on c6. At that moment, I'm up a pawn, but he's going to win one of them back. And I had the luxury of being able to choose which pawn I wanted to give him. Decided to give him the b pawn. Played knight c5. He took on b5 and then queen d3, getting the queens off the board. After we traded queens, he played bishop a3. I played rook f7. I think the chances of a draw at that point are probably 90–95%. So I offered a draw after rook f7. If anyone's better, it's very, very slightly white. But again, it's hardly anything. I think with almost any normal sequence of moves, it's going to be a draw. And he thought for a little while and accepted it. So the game did end in a draw. I guess I'm relatively happy given that I was under some pressure in the opening when he played that knight takes c4 move. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what to do against that. So not bad from there. Given the opening choice, I wish I could have made a bit more out of the position, but as I said, I've had some bad past experience in that line. It's quite tricky, even though black's up a pawn and the computers love it. Let me tell you, in practice, it's not easy for black. So I need 3.5 out of 4 for a GM norm. It's a long shot. I mean, the chances of that are probably 10%. But I'm definitely going to give it my best shot. Tomorrow I have white against Tatev Abrahamian in the first round, the morning round. And then in the evening I have, I believe, black against Akshat Chandra. So I'll be fighting hard for that win in the morning. Let's see what I can do. And just a quick thought on the Grandmaster norm. You know, some people might say, well, why don't you fight harder in your games, especially in a game that I just played where it was only 23 moves and it was a draw. Don't you want to play every game out to its natural conclusion? But the thing is, you also have to be practical. I think it's important to conserve energy, especially when you're playing 2 rounds per day. It's a lot, so yeah, I mean, maybe Boros and I could have played out another hour and a half, but almost certainly the result would not be the same, or would be the same, rather. And, you know, got to rest up and try to make the most of your chances when they're available, but not overpress. It's very difficult in chess to force a result. Most of the time, the result is just going to happen naturally by way of the quality of the moves. So let's say, this is a long way of saying, I'm not going to go absolutely crazy looking for a norm and play unsound chess. Like, that's not my style at all, and I don't think that's the best way to go about things. So I'm just going to play good chess as I know it, see what chances I have. I know if I continue playing good chess, I'm going to have plenty of norm chances, if not in this tournament, and then future tournaments. And I'm feeling really good about my play, so I'll try to keep it up. Thanks again, guys. Really appreciate you following and cheering me along. The support has been outstanding, overwhelming. I just popped in the Chess24 chat to see what everyone was talking about, and yeah, thank you guys so much. Some of you guys should use the computer less. That would be my only recommendation. Don't pay so much attention to the computer eval. It seems like 75% of the comments are just going on the Chess24 computer, which is a pretty weak one, to be honest. It's not a very high depth. So try to form your own opinions about the games. If you want to get better as a player, that's the way to do it. I know it's tempting to stick on the engine, but the lines that the engine is giving are mostly not the same lines that the humans are going to be thinking about. In some cases they are, like enforcing variations, but there are many moves that the engines give that a human is not going to consider or are not even best sometimes. All right, I'm going to wrap this up here. Thanks again, guys, and I'll update you tomorrow. Bye.